This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good night, Jemimah Ashleigh. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful, well, for me, night?
It is certainly daytime here.
Well, tell us, what part of the world are you in right now?
I am in Canberra, Australia, which is Australia's national capital.
Oh, that sounds like fun. The city, is it?
It is. It's meant to be like the capital of Australia, but everyone thinks it's Melbourne or Sydney.
That's wonderful. Well, do tell me, which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history?
Oh, I think it might be my recent book, probably history. I have just released an international bestselling book. I think that might probably be it.
Yeah, tell us more, please.
Yeah, so I wrote a book based on my entrepreneurial journey. So I started in entrepreneurship about 3.5 years ago and had a really great opportunity to meet so many amazing, phenomenal, beautiful people. And I wrote a book about all positioning yourself as an expert. And I've made every mistake so you don't have to.
That sounds like I need to get that, yeah?
I can hook you up, totally.
All right, so tell us, where can we connect and find out more about you before we buy your book?
You can find me at jemimahashleigh.com.
Now, Jemimah is a pretty cool name. Ashleigh is spelled Ashleigh. Of course, you can get that in the show notes. Who did you learn the skill of being this? It seems as though you're a high D in the disc profile. Are you familiar with the disc?
I am very much familiar with the disc, and I have heard that before.
So do you score high on the DI, or is it high on the SC?
I'm high on DI.
Okay, there we go. Ding, 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 ding. So I have 1 point. Right?
Well done.
So who did you learn that from? Where did that come from?
I actually was raised in a law enforcement family. Before starting entrepreneurship, I worked in law enforcement. I worked as a criminal intelligence analyst. So I learned very high D and very high I. Was very helpful in that kind of role. So I worked in that job for 10 years.
Wow. Now tell me about the podcast. How is the questioning as a high D? How does that go?
No, I love it. You're killing it.
How is your podcast?
Yeah, good. So I hosted, I was a co-host of the Business Experiment, which was named sort of the number 3 business podcast in Australia for a little while there. And that wrapped up about 12 months ago now. But there is, 60 episodes that are evergreen sitting on iTunes.
Love it.
We had, in 70 plus countries around the world and thousands of downloads. And we were really fortunate. We had, reach of about 7 million people just through Facebook alone. So really fortunate to host a podcast and absolutely loved it.
Doing all that you do as an entrepreneur, why will you continue to repeat the skills that are necessary to be who you are?
Why will I? Because I absolutely love it. It is the best job in the world, and I can't imagine trying to do anything else right now.
Well, tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
Number one thing is getting out of bed at 5:30 in the morning.
Oh, ouchie.
That is
How
the
does
most
that make you feel?
skill. Look, I'm going to be honest. It's rough when it first happens. When that alarm goes, I've been on holidays for Christmas, and we're recording this in sort of mid-January 2019, and I took a month off and I started back at work last week. And at 5:30 when that alarm went, I wanted to throw that phone out the window, if I'm honest. I had no interest in doing that. I had happily slept till, 9 a.m. like a person who was on holidays. But it's really self-discipline. And I think I've learnt to reframe self-discipline as self-love. If I can steal 2 extra hours every morning, it just becomes a numbers game for business. So if I'm working 2 hours extra a day more than anybody else over the course of a year, I'm accumulating over, 700-800 hours extra work than somebody else. So if we're doing the numbers game, I'm going to win.
There's the high D, folks. That is the high D. Now, this morning, I got up at 4:28 a.m. for a 4:30 a.m. interview. And I got caught, first of all, getting up at 4 a.m. and saying to myself, I'll only take a snooze for just a bit. Does that happen with you?
No, I don't hit the snooze button. If you catch me on a particularly low sleep day, you might see me hit the snooze button and then put my phone back down and just lay in bed and wake myself up, and just kind of lay there and try to open my eyes and try to get ready for the day ahead. But no, I don't. I try very, very hard not to hit that snooze button. It is very dangerous.
Well, there we go. Now, there's someone out there listening to you. Why would you suggest to them to do what you've done? It seems as though you've strategically plotted and planned your life, your choices. Why would you suggest other people do that?
I think because it's very easy to be accidental. Success is not accidental. This was the number one thing that I learned really quickly early on in this process, that, you know, you look at people like Gary Vaynerchuk or Tony Robbins. This wasn't accidental. They plotted everything. They planned what they were going to do. They knew exactly what they were going to go for. And I think that the biggest mistake that a lot of entrepreneurs make is we fail to recognize that, yes, we've started a small business, or yes, we've got a little side hustle going on or something right now, and we are going to be content with only making, you know, 10 grand extra than we made, $10,000 extra than we made in our salary before the job that we left, rather than thinking big picture. So I think for me, I got very intentional very quickly where I was spending my time, what conversations I would be having, who I was spending my time with, who were my sum of 5 people. And that really included a morning routine, because it's very easy to get lost in get lost and lose focus and I call it getting lost in the weeds, where, suddenly you're meant to be doing, finishing a book, and suddenly, it's very easy to get sidetracked and do something else. So you have to be very, very disciplined in my actions and what I do every morning.
Thanks for sharing that. Again, amazing audience, hearing it live from Jemimah Ashleigh. Well, Jemimah, let's switch gears for a moment. Let me now invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Jemimah, what is your earliest childhood memory?
I was 3 years old, and I'm with my dad, and we were buying flowers for my grandmother.
Interesting. Why do you think this memory is so clear?
It was when my why do I think it's so clear? My stepdad joined our family when I was, around that age, and I call my stepdad Dad. So I wasn't raised with a father figure. So I think that was really, I don't know why that one, but I just think knowing that this man was never going to be part of our lives forever. So I think that's why I have that memory.
So your stepdad was actually the person buying the flowers for your grandmother.
Yeah. So I think that's a really, really important one for me. And I call him Dad just to make this whole thing way more confusing. So, he's the only father I've known. So, I think that was my earliest childhood memory. And I had never actually thought about it.
How do you see that memory connecting to who you are today?
He's my favorite person on the planet. He's my absolute hero. So, and I think his kindness is something, if we go a nature-nurture debate on which one is more important, nature or nurture, I am my stepdad through and through.
That's beautiful. So, like, the thought picture that you created in my mind with that memory is one where, as entrepreneurs, it is so easy to get carried away in the high D things, right? The calculative hours in terms of what we need to do. But just at the beginning of this conversation, you spoke about taking December off, right? Taking the month off. And I think it's equivalent to the flower buying for your grandmother, which is just caring. You said that as well, right? The self-care and how necessary that
absolutely
is. So just love how that connected really beautifully there. If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
Oh, my favorite song, probably something by Hanson or the Spice Girls, showing my age a little bit here. Probably, I'm going to say probably something by Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Spice Girls, in that area. Pop music,
Hit me one song, please. I know Spice Girls, the popular one is Bye, Bye, Bye.
I'm going to say probably my favorite song would have been Hanson, Where's the Love?
All right, there we go.
That would be my favorite, probably.
Yeah, love it. All right, my
friend.
Embarrassing.
So embarrassing. Thank you so much for letting me relive my early teenage years. Goodness gracious.
There we go. Well, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form, so it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
Yes.
Jemimah, have you chosen
Always.
someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes, I have.
Are you married?
Yes.
Do you have children?
No.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a
Never.
week? Never. Ooh.
3 hours. 3 hours a
Okay,
week.
3 hours a
maybe.
week. All right.
Will
What
get me
about
by.
screen
Definitely.
time? The phone and the computer. Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Less than 8.
All right, Jemimah, if you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, what would you say that is?
I'm a lot of light, love, and a little go mess yourself.
There we go. Where's the love? Love it. Jemimah?
Yeah.
This was such a great pleasure, my friend. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Head over to jemimahashleigh.com for some free downloadables, and you can pick up a copy of a book that a few people also have read.
There we go. Jemimah Ashleigh, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
This segment has been brought to you by Amazel Enterprise.